Great Monday and welcome to the Coach Show, where women life and business coaches come to be educated, equipped, and empowered to coach with confidence and lead with transformational power. Join me, Coach P, right here on the Life and Business Coach campus every Monday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time to package your brilliance, optimize your performance, and bring harmony to your life. Great Monday, great Monday, great morning. Equipped, empowered, poised, and positioned to move those who are ready to move is my ultimate mission. I wake up every day determined to make a difference in my assigned place. You see, my purpose, my passion, and my focus is to take you, and you from where you are to where you want to be. I am Pamela Lue-Hing with Powerhouse Unlimited LLC, better known as Coach P, and I help those ambitious coaches, the women coaches who are struggling to create their online businesses, package, position, and sell their products and services so that they can coach with confidence and run their businesses with confidence and build a life and love that they build a life they love with confidence. And so I welcome you to the Coach Show. And this is where we help you discover your gifts, develop your gifts, and give them away every single day. The Coach Show is sponsored by the Coach Mastermind Network, and the Coach Mastermind Network helps to support you working on your business, not just in your business. And I invite you to come and experience the dynamics, the energy, education, and power in the room. So if you're interested in the Coach Mastermind Network, better known as CMN, just go ahead, put CMN in comments, and I'll forward you some information. I invite you to audit a session. The Coach Show is also sponsored by the Life and Business Coach Campus. The Life and Business Coach Campus is a Facebook group, a private Facebook group that helps to educate, equip, and empower you, and we empower each other. So again, I welcome you to the Life and Business Coach Campus. If you are not a member, you can go ahead and find us on Facebook. So I want you to share. I want you to like. I want you to comment. I want you to get your questions ready because I am off the charts, excited, could not sleep. I have been looking forward to this moment for a while. And so I'm very, very excited to introduce to you my mentor, my role model, someone who I've known for a very, very long time, Dr. Gloria Mayfield Banks. And what I want you to do is I want you to get your notebooks and pens ready. I want you to get ready to ask questions. And I have known Gloria for more than 30 years. I was a director of Mary Kay Cosmetics for 10 years. And Gloria, I literally sat at her feet for those 30 years, for the past 30 years. And I've still been sitting at her feet via social media, learning from her and growing from her and really learning how to become a better me through her. And one thing I learned from Gloria that I have really, really adhered to, and that is to give more, you've got to learn more. And so that's why I'm bringing Gloria here today so that we can give more, so you can learn more, so that then you can in turn go out and give more. And it just keeps repeating itself. Okay, so I'm so excited that you're here today. I want to go ahead and introduce to you the reason that we're here on today. And that is for Dr. Gloria Mayfield Banks to hear more from her. So I want to know out there, if you are ready to go to your next level, I want you to put next level in comments because that's what's about to happen over the next 30 minutes. So I'm so thrilled to introduce to you my longtime mentor and role model, Dr. Gloria Mayfield Banks. Dr. Gloria Mayfield Banks, she is a teacher, trainer, speaker, mentor, and motivator. It's not every day, right? You meet a record-breaking ball of fire that oozes passion, brilliance, business savvy, transformative leadership skills, show-stopping charisma, the uncanny ability and anointing to shift the room with her presence. But most of all, is humble and has a huge heart to help women break their own belief barriers and live their lives full out. Well, Dr. Gloria Mayfield Banks is that woman. She knows how to set a room on fire the moment she walks through the door. She is known all around the world as energy in motion because of her high energy persona and inspirational teaching style. Over the years, she has trained professionals on 6 continents to achieve new levels of success and is passionate about working with winners to actualize their full potential. Despite her challenges, this record-breaking game changer graduated from Howard University with a bachelor's degree in marketing, Harvard University with a master's of business administration, and an honorary doctorate from the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Gloria has presented on stage with Oprah in conjunction with her Empowering Women and Girls for Leadership initiative. She has appeared on CNN with Soledad O'Brien, on ABC TV, and on CNBC with Donnie Deutsch on The Big Idea Show. Gloria has been featured in Fortune, Black Enterprise, Glamour, and Ebony magazines. Harvard Business School has documented her business success in a case study entitled Gloria Mayfield at Mary Kay Cosmetics and is taught to students in the business school. Her life and career started one way and grew beyond what she could ever imagine. She learned to overcome obstacles and beat the odds along the way, and now inspires people around the world to do the same. She recently graduated from Mary Kay Cosmetics as the number one, not number two, number one earner in 60 years and has earned well over not one, not five, not 10, not 15, but over 16 million in her tenure with them. Help me welcome to the Coach to Coach show, the Dr. Gloria Mayfield Banks.
Wow, Pam, what an introduction. You hear people say that, but yours was amazing. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be with you. I love this platform that you've created, Coaching the Coach. I love that platform. I love the campus idea. I love the engagement with the right kind of people who are on the same playing field. So I'm excited to be here with you today. I cannot wait to dive in.
I'm just like beyond excited. So Gloria, I have to take a personal privilege. I hope you don't mind, and everybody else out there. I've got to take a personal privilege because yes, it has been 30 years. Alante was 2 years old. He just turned 32 on the 20th.
No way. No way.
And the first time I met you, this is my homegirl from Detroit.
Yes.
Hello there, Kim Jacobs. Yeah, she said, come on, Gloria. Yes, can't wait. Next level, Kim. Thank you for being here. So Detroit.
Yes.
Mercy, I think it was Mercy College. You did an event.
Yes.
And you came through the door with your fur coat behind you. Sashaying up to the front of the room. That was my first introduction of Gloria Mayfield Banks. And then Gloria Mayfield at that point, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yes. And so let me tell you what has happened, and I'll share this with everyone out there. But I was a director for 10 years.
Yes, a powerful
in Mary Kay for more than 20 some years.
Yeah.
And I attended every leadership. Anytime there was a workshop and Gloria was there, I made my business to be there. And what I love about Gloria is she never cut me short. If I had more questions, okay, come on, let's go. And I'm following her to her room. And I remember the night, Gloria, that there were a couple of us in the room and then they left. And you said, you don't have to go. You still got questions. Come on, you can stay. And I was like, okay. And I just wrote and I wrote and you poured in until I got tired. And then, so I want to thank you. And I wanted to tell you 5 things. I wanted to share this with you because when people see me, and I want the audience to know this, you see an offspring of Gloria Mayfield Banks because I trained under you and I learned you. I learned how you thought. I learned how you move. I studied you. And so these are the 5 things that I want to share with people today. Number 1, you taught me how to command the room and capture the audience, capture the hearts of the audience. You taught me how to be responsible for the influence of my leadership. You taught me interpersonal skills that I wouldn't have learned anywhere else. You taught me how to build esprit de corps among my team and the people in my sphere. And last but not least, now this is still a work in progress, Gloria. I remember doing, I don't know, leadership and the session was going on, the stage was happening, and I ran back because I had a question for you, and you stopped, even during the show, to talk to me about my little situation. You said, Pam, don't major in minors.
Right. I remember that, Pam.
I'm still a work in progress, but I'm getting better.
Yeah. Way up there, because you were powerful then. You were powerful then. So to watch you now and to see what you're doing and to see what you're causing in other people's hearts, in other people's minds, I do really believe that the true sign of leadership is how people are when you're not in front of them. And so what you've done here has been so amazing, just to watch the excellence, your responsiveness. I mean, I was going to say, this is true. When we got finished with this, I was going to be, okay, now she's going to stay on the phone with me just a little bit longer after we turn the cameras off and tell me how she's doing what she's doing, because I'm so impressed with what you're doing. I'm so very excited about this. And so it was an honor. It was not just an honor. It was an honor, and it was fun to work with you. You were always so poignant. You were always so hungry. You were always so ready to take it to the next level, because you were so responsible on taking other people to their next level. So I can only imagine what you're doing with the people that are here, that you have an honest soul searching for taking other people higher. And I love that.
Thank you so much, Gloria. I received that. I hold it in my heart, and I thank you. And so, y'all, the reason that Gloria is here today is, number one, God has positioned her to be here. Because about 6 months ago, Gloria, you don't know this, but as I was watching you retire,
yes,
and preparing for your next chapter,
right,
I was watching your every move, and I said, "Oh, Gloria is," and I didn't know anything about Grant Cardone. Okay, I heard the name, but I didn't know until I watched the show the other day when you interviewed Elena, that they have not earned not one, not two, not three, not four, but $5 billion.
Billion. Right.
And you know what you said was so powerful. You said the training. Wait a minute. The training that comes out of a millionaire's mouth is different.
Right.
And the training that comes out of a billionaire's mouth is different.
Right.
And so, boy, that's why you're here today. So I wanted to share you, because you look like me, number one, and many of us here. Let's call it what it is.
Right.
But to hear from you. So I want to hear, and I know everybody else wants to hear, a little bit of your story. How did you get here? Because it hadn't always been this way, right?
Girl. Now, let us all be clear that everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. Not everybody necessarily uses their story, but yes, I have a story. You have a story. We all have a story. And I always tell people that that's one of the reasons that people should be okay with sharing their stories, because there's no shame in this game called life. It happens to everybody. My story is, I did have a great upbringing in Detroit. I still love everything about Detroit. I still love Mercy. That is hilarious, Pam, that you remember all those details. But I always tell people that, the core of my story is, I grew up in a phenomenal house of middle-class parents who were married 62 years, just right before my dad passed. And so I came up in that environment. When I was in the 7th grade, they found out I was dyslexic. So I had a reading disorder. And it was interesting because my mother was a teacher, and I would do anything to get out of going to school on a day that they were having tests, because I knew I couldn't complete it in that time frame that they would get. I mean, and to fake a teacher, girl, I'd be rubbing my head like, I got a fever before she walks in the room. I cough and doing all kinds of crazy things, not to be sick on that day so I could take the test the next day and have as much time as possible. Anyway, they pushed through. It was so interesting when a teacher called my mother and said, your daughter has a problem, because everybody missed it. Pam, everybody missed it. And now I'm so glad that I have a platform to tell people about the fact that I have dyslexia, and that I talk about it loud, because every time I get off stage, Pam, people come up to me, women in particular, with tears in their eyes, and they say, you know what, you're really loud about the fact that you're dyslexic. And I've hidden this from everybody at work. And I tell everybody, if I send you an email, 2 things. Number 1, it's going to have a typo. And number 2, the phone number I send you, don't pay any attention. The phone number that comes from my assistant after that is the number you need to call. It's the link you need to use, because the one I send you is definitely going to be wrong. But, it's just how you play the game of life. So I kept going, and school was hard. It was hard, but I kept going. I became a cheerleader at high school, Redford High School, which is no longer there, but it was a great experience there. And I was a captain of a cheerleader there. And I want to tell you that piece only because people ask me, when the leadership skills show up? And they really started showing up right about that time. And I remember my mother saying to me, Gloria, because we were in a big competition, and she said, Gloria, you cannot cheer on the lawn at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. I was like, okay, everybody in this community is going to have to wake up, because I'm going to win. Okay. And that's the way that you do it. And so Sure enough, we took state champs and then went on to Howard University and had an exemplary, I always pick words. My husband says, Gloria, don't use big words. Exemplary, whatever that word is, career while I was there at Harvard and Howard. And I absolutely loved being at that HBCU. At that time in my life, it was the perfect time for me. It was a perfect place for me. Left there and moved to Boston. Such an interesting transition to Boston, and worked for Polaroid Corporation. After 2 years there, I went back to school and went to Harvard Business School. You guys, this is when I learned the art of teaching confidence. Honestly, Pam, you walk in the room, you honestly believe that you have to be the mistake. There ain't no way in the world that I'm supposed to be here with all these other people that you think are just absolute geniuses, and you're the only one that's not supposed to be there. It was so hard for me. They used to do written exams. They were 4-hour written exams, and this is the absolute truth. I turned in my first exam and had one line on it. I couldn't read it that fast. I couldn't write it that fast, and I certainly couldn't do it with anxiety and pressure. So eventually I had to go to the teachers and explain to them what my issue was, because I did not tell them what my issue was in the application. You know, fortunately, there's been a lot of studies done on people that deal with dyslexia, and, you know, they're very smart individuals. They just have a reading disorder. Money, reading, counting is an issue, although my life is all about reading, money, and counting. That's all I do all day long. But I did that. I left there. I took a job with IBM. I became a top salesperson at IBM, and I really did rank right at the top of my branch. And I loved selling, and I was selling $4 million computers. And, you know, the story keeps going on. Then I went back to work for Harvard Business School, and I did admissions. In between there, I was a marketing manager. So we have the stories, but the biggest part of my next journey was 10 years of domestic violence. And no one knew about the domestic violence. My mother didn't know. My sisters didn't know. I had 3 sisters, all of them very successful in their own right. And we're close. So you think about the fact that I was in domestic violence. In fact, my very first day at Harvard Business School, I had a black eye. And you guys, that's really where I started with makeup of any kind, because I wasn't wearing makeup before that. Don't ask me why. I can't explain it, but that was the deal. But anyway, I started with a black eye. And I tell that story because it's a very big picture of what we see. 1 out of every 3 people have been even touched by domestic violence, seen domestic violence, or know someone who's been drastically hurt by domestic violence. And we may not know it. When I speak on the stage, I always tell people you're looking at a very successful, smart, aggressive in many ways, businesswoman who was stuck in domestic violence for 10 years. And I couldn't leave for myself. I didn't leave for myself. But once I had 2 children, God really woke me up in a dream. And he told me that if I didn't get out of there, that my daughter was going to have to deal with this when she was 16 or 17 years old, coming home from a senior prom. I mean, the dream was extremely real, extremely real. So that gave me the fortitude to do something that I wasn't willing to do for myself. And I tell that story because a lot of women beat themselves up because they don't have the courage to do things for themselves. And it doesn't matter where the courage comes from. It doesn't matter. It's just that you have to find it. Last night on my live, I talked about go with me on this adventure to courage, because courage immediately builds confidence, and confidence immediately expands our choices. And so that's where I was in my life. So I became a single parent. And in between becoming a single parent, I decided to get some extra money. And that's why I started my Mary Kay business. And I tell people that story. It's not so much that I needed the extra money to exist. I definitely didn't want to go backwards. And you got to be careful who feeds into your mind, Pam. We know that. Yeah. People would say in my mind, you're going to go backwards because you're going through a divorce. You're going to lose things. You're going to go through a divorce. So I didn't want that. But the real reason I wanted more is because ambitious people want more, period. I was a well-paid executive businesswoman. I, in other people's eyes, was successful and was doing well. And I was. I'm very grateful for that journey. But I wanted more. And I really do believe that there's so many women out here that want a lot more. And I believe we want more because we want to give more. Right. And so I create this environment where it's okay to be super bad all day long. It's okay to walk into the room and walk in there unapologetically successful and walk in there knowing there's more for you. God has so much more for you. We went on a 32-week vacation this last summer, and the word that came to me was abundance. Now, I've heard the word. I even know
Right.
the word, right?
Right.
But huge, big deal. Anyway, I get out of that marriage. I'm a single parent for 7 years. I go to Florida. I fall in love with
Mhm.
Mr. Ken Banks. He saw me. I saw him. It's a hilarious, hilarious story that we don't have time for today. But we just celebrated 26 years of marriage. We blended a family of 4, my 2 kids, his 2 kids. We celebrate 5 amazing grandchildren, 16, 14, 11, 7, and 4 years old. And so the life is really good. And I use the word graduated from Mary Kay, although you're absolutely right. I retired, but the word retired has the word tired in it. And I'm not tired,
Mhm.
and I'm not finished. And I know there's more for me to give to so many more people. So I graduated, just like I graduated from these different institutions. I graduate with a ton of knowledge, a ton of experience, and a ton of wisdom. And so I'm here today, and I'm here every day to show up as a role model. Something I wrote 20 years ago is that my number one passion is to be a strong role model for people. And God told me seriously in my ear that my purpose is to take people from ordinary to extraordinary. And that's what I like to do.
Mm-mm. You know, Gloria, I'm sitting here. I'm like, I want to look, but I'm writing, and I take a minute. I'm like, can people see? So you dropped nuggets, and there were nuggets. I hope y'all caught them. And I thank you, LaShonda. You caught one. Courage comes before confidence.
Right.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Ambitious people want more. And
Right.
that's why you are all here today.
Mm-hmm.
You're all here today to hear, to learn, to be empowered, to be inspired,
Right.
and to be expanded
Yeah.
beyond what you believe for yourself.
Right.
And
Right.
so, Gloria, you have partnered with Grant Cardone.
Right.
And again, you said it yourself. The training that comes from the billionaire's mouth is
Right.
different than what comes out of your mouth,
Right.
and so on and so forth. So,
Right.
talk to us from the millionaire status today,
Yeah.
and kind of share with us what is different. What is
Yeah.
that something that's different?
Yes. I love the question, Pam, because we all gather knowledge from different people.
Mhm.
And the knowledge that you can get from someone that is homeless can be just as powerful and just as shifting as someone who's successful. My husband grew up in a home where his father was an alcoholic, and he wasn't the best example of a man or a father or a husband. But my husband used a statement that was very shifting to me. He said, my father was my greatest teacher because he showed me what I was not going to become. So I just first want to say to everybody, we learn from all levels and all experiences. I also know that when I listen to millionaires train, me being one of those, I learned so much before I became in that circle. And I still learn a lot from people who are in that circle. And, let's just be girlfriends here. 1 million is different than 10 million, which is different than 100 million. I mean, let's just be clear. And then when you get into the room with billionaires, I remember Eric Thomas. I was with him in Vegas about 2 months ago. And he was talking and he was training. You guys know Eric Thomas from Detroit, the hip hop motivational speaker. He is powerful, period. And he was saying that he was invited by one of his friends to go into a room with Warren Buffett. And when Warren Buffett started talking, he took back. He's like, no. He thinks differently. He thinks differently. Well, I've been around Grant, been on his stage, been to his home, been to some of his training for over 9 years, been with Elena, been with Pete Vargas, been in the room with these people, and I've heard his training. Let me give you guys an example. Here I am, a marketer, just like many of you, marketing your own business, taking it to another level, and you have an email list, and he hits his list. He hits his list. I'm going to just tell you guys, he hits his list. Well, we're like, tiptoeing, like, I don't want to hit him too often. I want to be very protective. He's like, no, hit that list, hit it again, let them know, because if they don't know you, they can't flow to you. And to me, that was a shifting. And he said, if they don't want to hear from me all the time, they're going to, unfriend me or unsubscribe to me. But those who want what I have what's meant for me is meant for me. So I am working really hard right now to bring as many people into the room. I've been in the room. I've been at the table. If you guys hear me talk, you hear me say this all the time. And I know I'm talking to the right group here because coaches believe in this 1,000%. Let me get to the table and then let me turn around and help somebody else get to the table, because that is what we're meant to do as leaders, is to help other people get to the table and get higher than they have ever been before. I want to say out loud to everybody, if you know Grant Cardone, great. If you don't know him, search him out. And when you do search him out, let me just be clear with you, there are going to be some things you don't like. He is not always Mr. Spectacular on social media. He has a following of a lot of men, like a lot. But you guys, you know this. When we get into the room, who's in that room? Men. Mm-hmm. Men are in that room. And so they're spreading things, they're talking about things, they're sharing things, they're educating things. They got the wisdom, they got the nuggets, and we're not getting that information. And we've got to get that information because, where'd you go? Are you still there?
I'm here. We're here. We can see you.
Yeah. Okay, very good. So sorry about that. It's so important that we're in that room. So then when he announced that TD Jakes was going to be speaking on the stage, I was like, oh, game changer for me. Game changer for me. Because to have Grant, to have his wife, Elena, to have TD Jakes in the room, he's going to be talking about the Unbreakable Challenge, because he's done this system in 16 different businesses and grown them to be very large. Money mindset. Let's stop there. Let's just stop there. That if you listen to a millionaire speak and you listen to a billionaire speak, it doesn't matter even if that's your goal. If your goal is just to be better so that you can contribute more to yourself, to your family, and to your community. You guys, it takes cash. Let's just be clear. When I teach to women and I talk about why they want more, the first thing I go to them with is, you want more because it causes security. Money determines where you live. Money determines how you travel. Money determines how you take care of your family, your parents, your children. Money takes care of what medical decisions you get to make because of the financial resources you've garnished before you needed them. Money matters. So the first day is money mindset. Then we're going to go into marketing. Then we're going to go into sales. Then we're going to go into communication. And then we're going to go into scaling. And he's going to be talking about this Tuesday through Saturday for an hour and a half to 2 hours from 1 to 3 Eastern Standard Time. And then you have an opportunity to gather together and we can discuss these things at a different level. But it's really important that you get from it what you can and take the nuggets. Say you don't have all 5 days to be there. It's okay. If you go to some of it and you get some of it, if you're working and it's playing in the background, you're going to garnish something. So it's really important that Pam is going to give you a link that you can go to. Do not just go to any link, please. Definitely go to Pam's link because it will make a difference. You guys, how you get into something, how you deliver into something, how you walk into something matters. I told them, made a commitment. I'm bringing the women. We're walking in like this. I'm really clear about it. I'm bringing 6,000 women into that room. And I am really close to that 16,000 and we'll hit it and we'll explode it. Because one thing I know, Pam, one thing I know how to do is break records. That I know how to do. I've done it a million times and I've taught so many other people to do the same. So that's why my passion is very, very high, because there's not anybody that you work with, Pam, that didn't come to you, come around you, stand next to you, that didn't want more for themselves, more for their family, and more for their community. And billionaires just explain it differently. And that's why they become billionaires, because they brought other people with them.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. As Gloria said, I will be sharing a link. I'm going to post it in the comments after the show today. So make sure that you use the link. And why do you want to use that link? Because when Gloria when I saw Gloria was with Grant, and I've been following her over the summer because she went to some trainings. I enjoyed our trip. Was it 32 weeks? I enjoyed our trip. I enjoyed every moment of it, Gloria, because you shared it. I loved it. And thank you for sharing your life with us. And Gloria studied under Grant, trained under Grant. And I said, okay, Gloria. And then we connected. And she says, hey, Pam, I got to go. I'm ready to break this record. And anytime Gloria says she's ready to break a record, guess who's there to support? I said, okay, let me help you break the record. And it wasn't necessarily Grant Cardone. I'll be honest with you, Gloria. It just wasn't. It was like, but if you're doing it, then I know I need to go do it because you're my mentor. And so Gloria's goal is 16,000. I said, Gloria, I can at least, not at least, we don't use those words, right? But I want to bring 100 of my community, women in my community, with into the from the campus to the training. Right. And so that is my goal. That's why you want to use my link to get registered, because Gloria's tracking that. I'm tracking that. And so I am so very excited. Gloria, now this week is free, but I do understand there's VIP. So you want to talk to us a little bit about the VIP?
Yes. Okay. So this week you can get in, you can lean in, you can look in, you can listen in for free. It's virtual and it's free. If you think that you're the type of person that doesn't like to miss anything, or you understand that one nugget could shift the direction of your dream, you might want to get the recording for all 5 days, plus access to the speakers backstage, plus giveaways that, Grant, he's very generous. He's got a lot because he gives a lot. That's another nugget I've learned from him. Every time I think about being generous, I think about how can I be more generous, because what you put into the lives of others comes back into your own tenfold. So he's doing that for $97. It's ridiculous. Think about what you spend $100 for. You can get the recording. You can go back and forth. You're having one of those days. You want to have some instructions. You want to understand how. You want to know how to go bigger. You want to know how to go 10x. You want to know how to go further. You want to know how to go deeper. You get that for $97. That's the VIP experience. So I love the fact that we have choices. We can do free. We can do more. However, I just want to make sure, Pam, that we are in the room.
Awesome. I love it. Again, nuggets, y'all. Even as Gloria is sharing about the experience, she's dropping nuggets. If you've got a lot, you can give a lot.
Right.
And earlier you said, if people don't know you,
they can't flow to you.
They can't flow to you.
They can't flow to you. If they are looking for something, they need to go onto my YouTube. My last YouTube was an interview that I did that you saw, Pam, with Elena and Pete Vargas, just to get a better understanding. Because here's what I want them all to know, that you will reach your goal. I will reach my goal. But really the underlying and important thing is that the joy you want in life comes by giving it to other people. And so it's not just that they decide to come, but they invite 5 of their friends to come. You all know 5 ambitious people that need to be exposed to more, because it's the exposure that comes before the experience. So if you have exposure, you have experience. Like when we went on that 32-day trip, my dream was to expose people to Dubai, expose people to South Korea, expose people to Singapore, expose people to Vietnam, expose people to Bali, expose people to Zanzibar. And then we went back to Dubai, and to see what is available to us. Some people have been there, some people have not. There's parts of the world that I haven't been to yet. You can believe it. But I want to see more, because exposure comes before the experience. And I want to expose people.
Excellent. I love it. I absolutely love it. Exposure comes before the experience. The experiences that we can create, right? The choices that we can have because of the exposure and the things that we learn as we're being exposed. And so everyone, again, I will put the link in. We're streaming live on my personal page in the Life and Business Coach Campus, as well as LinkedIn. We'll also put this out on Instagram. And so I'll put the link there as well. So please, let's get registered. Let's help Gloria break the record yet again. And I'm excited to help you do that. And I'm also excited to sit and learn. Like you said, I've learned from you. now I can go learn from now the
Right,
billionaires, and
right.
it's just exciting, an exciting time. So
And there's things that they're going to learn, you guys. I really want you guys to pay attention to the presentation. I want you to pay attention to the force in which they bring it. I want you to pay attention to the passion that they exude. I want you to pay attention to how they tell a story. Pete Vargas is excellent at teaching other people how to tell their story. So there's a lot of different things that if you are not careful, you could miss it. So I want to prepare people not just to attend, but to look deeper beyond the obvious and really be intentional about calling 5 friends that are willing to be there. It might take 10 or 15, but if all of us reach beyond where we normally operate, there's more that's going to come to you. And the joy that you receive when your friends start texting you and say, oh my gosh, that's what we want to see. That's what I want to see people experience.
that's right. That's right. And they don't have to attend all 5 days, right?
That's right. They can attend what they need. I gotta tell people, because people will say, well, I can't make this or I can't make that. Go to what you can. But I also want to tell people that we've all done this before. What we think we're going to get, when we start to see what we can get, we shift things. So if it's of value, you will shift your life so that you can attend more, because it is more valuable for you than you anticipated. How many of us have been to things that, like, our mind gets blown, like, oh my gosh, I almost missed this because of a minor excuse I was going to let my life lean into. But I certainly have been one who have shifted when nobody could understand. Pam, you and I know people are like, what? But they don't live my dream. They don't have my responsibility. And when I was able to take Juliana to Spelman College and leaned into the woman and said, okay, so how much do I need to write this for her, to pay for her college? And the lady looked dead in my face and she said, financial aid is right down the hall. And I said, you know what? I'm not asking you about financial aid. I'd like to know, what is her total amount for the tuition, for the room and board, for her books? Just give me the amount so I could pay for it with half of 1 month's check. I want other women to experience that, because when I walked into the world where I was exposed and someone told me how much money they had made, my mouth dropped. And I said to myself, if I could just make half of a half of a half. Mm-hmm. So the exposure changed my life, and I'm here to expose many others as well.
Gloria, I'm sitting here with chills. I'm sitting here with chills. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I will post the link. And Gloria, before we go,
yes,
I had a couple questions. And if any of you have questions out there, please post them in comments. All right. Yes. But I'm sure you'll be able to learn something from the questions I'm about to ask. So Gloria, I shared with you that you told me not to major in minors. You really poured that into me. And you talk a lot about emotional management.
I do.
And that is something that I am working on. I'm a work in progress, right? So what would you say are the keys? Because I firmly believe that it's the emotional management. I think Career Builders has done a study with 500 companies, with the Fortune 500 companies, about the importance of the emotional intelligence over the IQ. So they'd rather have people who are more emotionally intelligent. So, and I believe they make, is it 71% more or something like that, if they focus in on that and master that. So what are some keys to managing your emotions?
Okay, Pam, that is like such a strong question, especially to a tribe of people who want to quantum leap and grow bigger. So the first thing I need everyone to understand is the benefits, because we can do anything when we understand the benefits. Things that are hard for us become easy when we understand the benefits. I always tell people, if someone calls you up and says, girl, I want you to be in my wedding and I want you to walk down that aisle, all of a sudden that Snicker bars that we love to eat doesn't taste any good. All of a sudden, we don't want any dessert. We don't want no ice cream. We don't want no cake. Because we don't want to be the overweight lover in the house. We want to change. And so we change quickly. So the first thing that people need to know is that emotions will distract you. Emotions will slow you down. Emotions cause you to procrastinate. Emotions that are not intelligently managed magnify fear where it doesn't belong in the first place. And emotions cause the imagination of things that are not happening to appear as if they are. So, in order to understand what to do once you're faced with emotions, the very first and most important thing is being aware of your thoughts. I work very hard to be aware of my thoughts because when you are not emotionally intelligent, what happens is things start to happen. You start to say things and you do things, and then you realize what happens. Like, for instance, if you're in an argument, and we've all been in heated arguments at least once in our life, I want them to imagine that they're on the expressway and you're in an argument. You don't even see the exits. You can't stop the argument. You say things that you don't really mean in that argument. You say things that maybe you mean, but you don't want to say them in that argument because you're running down that expressway in your car at 100 miles an hour and you cannot see the exit signs. And so that's what happens when we don't manage our emotions. We think things are bigger. We think they're important. Now, when women get to the point where they understand wisdom, like you said, your son is 32 years old. What I want you guys to be as an example is things that she thought were so critical when he was 4 years old are things that when he turned 16 years old, like, that is not a big deal. Like, get over it. That is not, but it's the same activity, the same things that we saw, the same girlfriends that said the wrong things to us, the same emotional conversations, the judgment, the complaining, the things that we let go of. So when I say don't major in minors, you first have to be aware of what's bothering you. You have to be aware of what you're thinking. You have to be aware that if you're not aware, you cannot be aware of the targets that are in front of you or the goals that are in front of you or the lack, listen to me carefully, the lack of passion that it takes to move beyond the space you are right now because of the emotions. You guys, because I've dealt with women for over 30 years, when they would call me frustrated and crying, I used to say to them all the time, and these aren't mamby-pamby women, these are major players that are calling me. I used to say to them, your tears don't bother me. When you've been through what I've been through and acknowledge it, your tears don't bother me. What I love about what you're doing right now is you're calling because you want to be guided through. Who can guide you through that emotional challenge that you have instead of just thinking that it's something that you need to do yourself? You guys, some of us need therapy. And I'm one of the loudest people to say, get therapy if you need it. I remember going through that marital divorce and I went to a therapist and I said to her, please explain to me, why am I not crying during this time? What is wrong with me? I should be crying. I just broke up a long marriage. She said, you cried all the time in your marriage. You cried all day long in your marriage. That's why you're not crying anymore. I said, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, thank you so much. Here's your check. See you later. Bye. I mean, it just takes one person to guide that rudder just a different way that will shift you, that will change everything in your life. So for me, I have seen so many people, Pam, derail their ability, and they can't grab hold of the unique gifts God gave to them because they're so emotional. It's a problem.
It is. It is. It's problem, and I like to say it's the challenge because I've had it all my life, right?
Yeah.
And that's why
Yes.
I was okay, Gloria. What's next? What do I need to do next? Because I'm trying to stay out of my emotions. What's next? What's next? Let me stay tunnel vision, right? So
Right.
you mentioned your marriage, right, and what you went through, and so how did you manage your marriage? You had two young children. You had your business because you were working full time when you started Mary Kay. Then you rose up the ranks quickly in Mary Kay, and you are a woman of faith.
Mm-hmm. Oh
So,
my God.
how did you manage all of this and still continue to focus and move your business forward?
Right. Well, that's a awesome question I get asked many times. And I want to first start out with my faith is the base of everything. My faith is, it's hard to articulate it, except that everybody that leans upon their faith will understand it. It's the platform that sometimes goes up and down and shifts, but it's such a strong platform that is flexible enough to carry you when you're strong and when you're weak. So my faith plays a big part of it. And my faith comes in different formats. My growth, the people that I'm around, I like to be around people who are like-minded in their faith, like I am. I call that to me, and I disregard people. And by disregard, if they're not on that playing field, I don't necessarily judge them. That's just not the space I choose to be in. And I think that when you're super bad all day long, you're okay with making decisions that could be difficult for you. I would tell people the way that I've held on to this 26-year marriage, first and foremost, I'm hot. Okay? I am hot.
Hot.
And I know it's important to be hot. I have a man who is attracted to hot. So I sustain hotness in my relationship. And it's an important priority for me, and it's an important priority for him. He's very affectionate. I'm very affectionate. So we knew, number two, that we were equally yoked on so many fronts. He's very, very successful, and he's a go-getter, which was important to me. I like a protector. For me, that's important for me. And so, but I also needed freedom. He's always given me my freedom to be exactly who Gloria is supposed to be. And one of the things I say all the time is that it takes a strong man to lift a powerful woman. And that's what he was for me. He gave me my space to create what it is that I need to create. He has his space to create what he, and you guys, so many people ask me this question. You don't worry about him when he travels, or you don't worry about him when he comes in later. You don't worry about him when he's doing things. No. And he doesn't worry about me either, because that's the space we needed to create. If he needs me by my side, by his side, or I need him by my side, I need to give him 3 to 6 months notice, because our lives are that planned out. And that is what's required for us. So can you even imagine us going away for 32 days? I mean, trying to conduct that whole thing. But that's exactly who we are. The other thing I would tell you, Pam, is that his faith is rock solid. I mean, his faith is rock solid. So his faith makes my faith better. My faith makes his faith better. You know, leaning on our family is a big deal for us. We do this big thing where we've had our family together for Thanksgiving. 35 to 40 people come stay at our house for a week. They don't go to the hotels. They don't go to the restaurant. But it is one of our biggest joys, is to be able to do that. And it's because we work like we work for the time that we work in order to have those kind of celebrations. Our marriage is full of laughter, which is a big deal for me. It's big. I love to laugh. He makes me laugh, you know. And before I got married and I was dating, girl, if they put me to sleep, that meant it was this date. Everything associated with it is out. Okay. Because I work hard, so I fall asleep easy. And if you can't keep me awake, I don't know what they do on these apps these days, because it wasn't out when I was there. But if I was that place, I'm telling you, all my girlfriends, I would be on an app. And I would find the right app for me, because I move with technology. I love technology. I move with it. And that's why I love social media. I move with it. And so I invite everybody to come and see me on Instagram at Gloria Banks, because I move with it. But the very first thing I would tell you, beyond faith, because I think faith is first, integrity is second, and confidence is third. That's what I think, and I will say it forever, but it's that confidence that I created over and over and over again. I created that I think has been a sustaining factor of our marriage.
Wow. Drop the mic. And you just affirmed my theme for this year. And that is, how I do one thing is how I do everything.
Wow.
And I just every day I repeat, how I do one thing, and that is every single thing, every facet of my life. And faith, integrity, which is that how I do one thing is how I do everything, which breeds confidence, right? Because you're doing something over and over again. It develops the discipline, the accountability, which builds the confidence. And so, Gloria, I could keep you all day. And my apologies, we have gone over. I didn't even oh my goodness, we've gone over. See, this is Gloria all day. For 30 years, I've had the opportunity to do this. And so, Gloria, I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I love you so much. I really, really do.
I love
so
you.
Glad.
Yes, I love you so much. And so, everyone, I'm going to put that link out there. Get registered. Get registered today. As soon as we get off, I'll go put that link in, get registered, and then join us next week on the Coach to Coach show. As we
five friends.
Oh, and bring 5 friends, right?
Right.
Yes, and have them bring 5 friends, right? That's right, right. Next week's topic is 3 keys to boosting productivity. So that's what we're going to talk about next week. So join us here on the Coach the Coach Show next week. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I just want to say thank you to all of those people who have been here. I've been trying to post some of your comments, but Gloria, you have got to hear it. You've got to hear it. You are hilarious. Uh-huh. I love it. And someone said, hot. Yes. Denise, oh my beautiful friend Denise. She says, "Thank you, Gloria Mayfield Banks. You are a powerhouse." Someone said yes. They just said yes. That's all they could say. Is just yes, 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 yes. And then they're helping us and they're educating us with your training today. I like this. Who could guide you to shift you? And then Valerie's in the house. She's another powerful speaker.
Yes.
On February 4th. She's a
Yes.
transformational coach. Excited about being in the house. I'm going to be in the house there too because I decided, Gloria, that this year is the shift for me. So, and I realized that in order to shift the way that I need to shift to get out of my head, I need to connect with you more. I need to connect with Valerie more. And in order to do that, I got to show up where you are. I got to be in the house. And so,
you have to show up. You have to show up. Let's just say this one more time. You must put your body in the place where it will be shifted. You, whether it's virtually or not, but you're going to be there at that event in North Carolina. I think it's going to be amazing. So you got to put your body in the place where it will be shifted. Thank you for saying that.
That's right. That's right. So all my girlfriends in North Carolina, I sent some messages yesterday to invite my dearest girlfriends from North Carolina, Charlotte, there. So please, 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 if you're interested, let us know. We'd love to have you join us. Betty said she came in late, but she was right on time. Yes, yes, I love this. Coach Carol says, yes, she is a powerhouse. Thank you so much for your energy, gems, and knowledge, Gloria. And somebody's just sending love. They're sending love. And there's so many comments here. And let me see. LaShonda says, I think we all need a therapist. Yes, you are right. I have one of the best therapists. So if anybody's interested, say therapist in comments and I'll get you her information. That would be Miss Trisha. And Valerie says she's excited. Valerie's in the house. And see, Valerie is taking time out of her busy schedule because she's busy preparing for her event. But she's here to support Gloria and me. Right. And see, that's what it's all about. It's about supporting. Valerie's real big on supporting one another. And breathing life into one another and showing up. And so thank you, Valerie, for taking time out of your schedule because she's a multi-million-dollar real estate producer out of North Carolina and several states. And then someone says, say it, the triggers. You were talking about triggers at that time. And then Abigail says, thoughts are powerful. Once you align your thoughts with your goals, great things happen. Thank you. Thank you, Abigail, for posting that. And then someone says, wow, emotions can take total control of how we think and act. Thank you, LaShonda, for being here. And so it goes on and on. If you just came in, you got to go back. You got to watch the replay. Go back from the very beginning because you got to hear Gloria's story. You got to hear how she was able to move past her challenges and do what God was calling her to do. And there's one thing I know about Gloria. She reminds me, she's so tenacious. When she makes up her mind to do something, it's like she locks down. Like, was a bulldog on a bone. It's like, I ain't letting that, when you're trying to pull the bone and they're like, no, this is where we're going.
Right.
And Gloria, I can talk to you all day. I remember one time I was having a come apart. And I think I was pregnant at that time and we were at leadership and I started crying. You're like, oh, no. We don't have time for that. Come on, we're going to go over here. I'm going to do this and this. We're going to. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess the kids doesn't matter anyway.
We don't have time for it. We don't have the time for it. Life is short, y'all. Life is short. That time goes fast. Yes.
So short. But what you taught me in that moment, Gloria, is that the same energy that we expend occupying our minds with whatever that thing is that's troubling us, we can take that same energy and redirect it in a direction that's going to move the needle forward if it's just a half inch, right? So Gloria, thank you for your time.
Thank you for who you are. Thank you for who you're choosing to show up for in this world. Thank you for your community, because it sounds to me, and I see it here, that you've created a community of people who touch other people. And when you create a community of people who touch other people with passion and support, like Valerie speaks about, it is incredible what we can all do together. And we all know that if there's any time for us to support each other, it's now. For real. Right now.
Right now. And with that, y'all, we're going to bid you farewell. Get signed up. I'm going to post that link so that you can be in the room. Gloria's going to be in that room. I'm going to be in that room. Valerie's going to be in that room. And I'm sure all of you here today are going to be in that room. So go grab 5 girlfriends, tell them to grab 5 more, and we'll see you starting tomorrow. Make it a great day. Make this week the best week yet.